Good evening.
Okay, somebody say something now.
Something.
Okay, I heard that. Okay, so what's going on?
We're gonna sim.
Cool. So I get that you're busy, but I'm busy too. I got to get back to work. And I wanted to stop by and ask you the question that I was going to ask you privately earlier, which is, what's?
Really?
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
The question was, what was different about the trade that the Yankees and Cincinnati made versus the trade that Josh made earlier, where he put in the wrong names or the misspelled names or whatever. What was different about those two trades?
What
That
was different about those two trades was that Josh didn't have the money to actually make his trade, so it was a voided trade regardless of the
so it wasn't
names.
voided because he misspelled the names. You were just getting on his case about that.
As I usually get on his case about anything I can.
Okay. I thought you were getting on his case and not doing the trade because of the
Well, let's say
misspellings.
let's say for the sake of argument, I didn't say that, and that wasn't the reasoning, and I just did it because I fucking felt like it. Would that satisfy you or no?
Well, I just feel like everybody should be treated the same. And if I had done it,
You feel like everybody should be treated the same.
yeah, why?
Get the
Why?
fuck out of here, man.
Why does that surprise you?
Because you treat everyone like shit.
Yeah, the same though.
I wouldn't say so. Anyway, anything
Okay.
else I can help you with?
No, that was just that. That's exactly my point, though. If I were to post a trade, and I put in the wrong, like they weren't in the right league, or they were misspelled or whatever, are you gonna let a trade like that go through, or am I in the same boat as
It's a
Josh, where
temporary issue, so but starting
well,
next season, everyone will have to submit their trades in game, so it'll be that issue won't exist anymore. It'll disappear.
with the new
That
version?
feature's in the game now. It's not mandatory to utilize it. It will be mandatory to use that.
So everything that we trade now, trade in this league, will be able to be transferred in the game,
Yeah, you can already do that.
like
Like
draft
you don't.
picks and all that.
You guys can just post. You guys can just submit your trades to me in game.
And then that just pops up for you
It just
when you
pops
do
up on
the
my
same.
screen, and I hit OK. I just check the thread to make sure both teams agreed to the terms. And then if you spelt, I don't know. Anyway, in the
It
meantime,
wouldn't matter in that case because you'd be choosing them off a list, so you would never misspell or know you'd know what league they're in because you're making the deal.
I'd also say, man, like honestly, and maybe you can tell, it gets me fired up when people question me about that shit because 28 other people in the league don't seem to have a problem with posting trades correctly. And it seems to be one or two guys that really have a hard time
So just
understanding finances or understanding how trades should be posted or understanding how to correctly label what league they're,
User
you
joined your
know.
channel.
So that's why it frustrates me when I'm processing trades, and that's why it
I
frustrates me
totally
when
get
I get
that.
questioned about
Like
it
I've
because
like I've told you in the past, I was a commissioner for fantasy sports for like 17 years. So it was very frustrating to me to see those sorts of things, and it was hard to draw the line and say I'm not going to do this or whatever because you always felt or I always felt like I was being uh, maybe biased against one person
I
versus
you
another.
can I'll
I
just
didn't
say
want people
this.
to see me
You
that
can go
way.
to the voided trade section and you can see the two trades there that they submitted. The first one they submitted, the name was spelled incorrectly and the players were labeled in the wrong league levels. and I was
Well, that
frustrated,
trade was
so I
too,
didn't
though.
process
That's
it.
why I brought. That's why I
Then
was
you
bringing
can
it
see
up.
the next thread where they posted it again in the correct league levels on Larry's sim. The next sim was Larry's sim.
Right.
Larry then voided it because, again, they didn't have the money to do it. It wasn't a legal trade.
I see. Okay. Well, when I looked at that trade, I had trouble finding the guys. Like I searched for the guy based on the name, and I couldn't find him. And I thought, well, that would be the same frustration that you would have when you're trying to,
Well, imagine having a guy do it to you 87 times over a 4-year fucking span in real life.
No, I get it. Like I said, I was a commissioner for a long time. I hated it, because it was just thankless that you're doing all that work for nobody, and everybody thought you were their personal secretary. And for that matter, when they did something wrong, you were supposed to just, you're supposed to just let it go. But the reality is, it makes your job twice as hard, when they can't even get their stuff. And I thought you made the right statement by saying, especially somebody that's been around that long that should have their shit together, but then I seen it today with the Cincinnati trade, and I thought, well,
what was wrong with the Cincinnati trade?
If I could, if there was a guy who's been in this league for 10 years and it's never been an issue, and I can see it's a fucking D and the F is right beside the, and it was supposed to be an F, like I get it, man. But when it's the same guys,
yeah, and I don't have your
anyway,
experience,
and fucking 99.9% of the time, I never say a word. They don't even know it because I just go ahead and do it. I put it through.
right, like you didn't mention it to Jimmy today and whatever. But my point was just that it seemed unequal by looking at the reaction to Josh's trade. I didn't know there were financial issues in that trade. I thought I thought you were just up in arms about him not being diligent and misspelling or putting people in the wrong.
I am. That's a great way to say it, just in general. Generally speaking, I am up in arms about.
Well, it's a good idea that you came to Nurse about that after you've approached everybody else in the fucking league. What was wrong with the Cincinnati trade again?
You misspelled one guy's name, and the other guy was not in the league. Marquez was not in the league.
You look at his fucking player page, Slick.
Who's that?
You know about it.
I'm getting all fired up. Jimmy's all fucking fired up.
You know about it. Go look at the fucking player page where it says he's in fucking Dayton. I fixed it. I misspelled a fucking word. You ain't never misspelled a word, though, right? Not you.
I didn't say that I didn't.
You talked to everybody in the fucking league except for Nurse about this fucking thing today. This fucking trade today.
First of all, I've not talked to anybody in the league about it except the guy that it applied to, which was Andy. Because Andy was involved in that trade.
How was Andy involved in that trade?
Because he was the other side of it. His trade was not completed because of what I thought was a spelling error.
I didn't even trade with Andy, dude. Take your medication and go on. Just go on, dude. You're a fucking antagonistic little motherfucker, dude. You're running out of time here. Just want to let you know. I'll be the first one to tell you, not the last.
And I appreciate your sentiment, but I can tell you that Andy was involved with the trade with Josh that got held up because of what was described in the chat as spelling errors. Yet somehow you had spelling errors today. Nobody said anything about it.
And to be fair, it was an abbreviated. He he just put the first initial, and it was a spelling error. So, like, fuck. Especially if you're gonna use just an initial, don't fuck it up, man.
Oh, I get it, and like I said, I'm totally on your side about the frustration of it all. Like I said, I used to have to deal with that all the time.
Not to mention, it's just like, why are you doing this fucking trade again? Like, why are we doing this again? Like, this fucking, I'm just like, okay, you're trading this guy? All right, yeah.
Well, and I was just thinking it was a long-term thing. Should it be a rule, or should it be something that, because it seemed like a precedent.
A rule. It's already been amended.
It seemed like a precedent was set with Josh's situation that we shouldn't do that.
You're overthinking too much.
I'm thinking of my own situation. If I did that in the future, would my trade be stopped because of it?
Well, just don't misspell things and you won't have to find out.
Yeah, well, just like Jim said, people make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that's really that big. I mean, it's annoying for Nourish, and if it's the same person who does it a million fucking times, like, yeah, he's gonna get frustrated. But in general, like, do I think that's a really big deal? No. I don't think Nourish thinks it's that big a deal either, except when it's the same offenders over and over and over again, and he has to do extra work to figure it out because of the same people over and over and over again.
And he's the only one that has the experience to really know who those offenders are. That's why I'm asking the question.
Luckily,
It's really not a secret.
not that anyone wants to do it, but going back 4 years now, we do have this all documented. I just gotta fucking actually get the videos organized.
That's fine.
But there's been a few things. It's usually DFAs and stuff. But even Larry said to me, he's like, "Holy shit, you do that? You do that? Like, you look after that?" So, and that's why I said this year, and like people didn't understand. And this is sort of another example of it. I said I'm enforcing the rules this year. You know?
Yeah, I get it. It gets frustrating. Put in so much time already, and then to have to chase somebody down and try to figure out what the hell's going on. It's horrible. I used to have to stop we were doing, we had weekly fantasy blind bet auctions, and people would bid more than they had in their account, and I was like, guys, you're killing me. You can't even keep track of your own account to to know how much you can bid, and of course it'd be posted on our website, but that didn't, it seemed like for whatever reason, adults just, when they get somebody like you or like I was to start to do the work for them, they just stop being diligent.
I have breaking news. The White Sox have won a baseball game.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So you're
Guys,
1-6, is that right?
1-6, baby.
That's
We're coming
great.
back.
Well, the Braves got off to a bad start last year, and they didn't really, they never were really able to recover, but they did come back and get 500 at least. They threatened for the wild card.
I wasn't 0-6 last year, but I did have a bad start and ended up in the wild card. So
I think they were really
can
bad,
happen.
like 2-10 or something in their first few games.
yeah.
I can't understand how Miami's so good all of a sudden. He didn't bring anybody up. I mean, he traded for a guy or two, but
Who's he been playing?
he's playing me right now. He took me to overtime, or took me to extra innings. 11-10.
So who's the best player in this league again? Who's gonna rub everyone's face in the dirt because you're the best and everyone else fucking sucks?
Only you
We got to get a
suck,
pay per
Aaron.
view going here. I've challenged Josh to a fight. So maybe like I don't know if Jim and Justin. I know you guys. Maybe you guys would want to fight. We could get a little pay per view going here.
I'm not looking to fight
Patreon.
anybody.
We'll fucking finance this thing.
Yeah, that's
Barstool,
again.
Barstool Sports does that. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, we could all just get together once a year, beat the fuck out of each other.
Jim's game is fucking intense right now. I think he just won though. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that everybody's mad at me and I have an abrasive personality, and that.
The problem with you, dude, is you're a fucking asshole in chat, but then when you come into voice chat, like, you're a nice guy, like, I like you. But then when I see you type and I read the shit you type, I'm just like, what an asshole. And then I come back every time I talk to you, and I'm like, well, fuck. Like, the way you get your points across when you're speaking to someone is a lot different. How I pick up what you're putting down is completely different when I'm talking to you than when I'm reading what you've typed. It's fucking mind-blowing, dude, honestly.
I have heard that by like 1,000 people. No, actually, kind of weird, but
Yeah, it's fucking weird. It's really weird. It's weird for me, man.
yeah, I can be just as big a dick in the chat as well. But,
I just
or
usually
the
stay out of
live
it in the
but-
chat. I'm just like, fucking, you guys
Or
fight it out.
when I say chat, I'm actually talking about this, but anyway, well, I guess I could be, but for some reason I have a different filter.
Seattle has players designated for assignment.
What?
I do too, actually.
Oh, Vlad Guerrero, because
Danny
he wouldn't let
Lawton,
me demote
Vlad
him.
Guerrero, Danny Ray.
There's a fucking fixed. The fuck? Did I not export? Let me look at my thing right now. Holy shit, I didn't export. Because literally, I'm looking at my thing right now, and like, there's no one there besides Vlad.
You're too busy trolling, man.
Vlad just needs to be released. I don't know.
Yeah, he just got released.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
New York Yankees. Not really his fault. Fuck,
What,
he's
the
gonna
fact that
lose a whole bunch of guys here.
the Yankees?
Yeah.
Could you give him a pass on that? Because I mean, he just took
There's
over the
nowhere
team.
for the guys to go, man. They're on 40-man. They're on major league contracts. I guess it's just Mark Shaw, really. But there's
I
nowhere
hate to
for
see a
him
guy
to go.
that just
The
stepped
active
in.
roster's full.
Can you ask him? Is he's on right now?
We don't have fucking time. I can't. No.
What's the contract?
There's still 2 years left after this one. It's a pretty bad. It's 10 million a year, pretty much.
Well, could that be his freebie that he get? For his so he doesn't have to pay that.
I don't know.
I mean, just ask him. Say, hey, look, this guy got released. Do you want? We could apply that rule to.
Just release him for now. Figure that out later. I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't want to hold up the whole sim for this right
So
now, especially when he had a chance to
exported
deal with
today?
it today. I know he's new, but
He
Yeah.
exported, right? I mean, he should.
he did export. Yes,
He doesn't seem like he's new to the game, so that's
he's
not.
not.
Yeah, but with the draft and people talking to him about trades and all this kind of stuff, I think he just maybe overlooked it. I mean, anybody can do that, and I just hate to do that to a guy that, if it was Josh or me or whatever, fine, but somebody like that, I don't know.
Real quick. So I have an offer from Josh, but I don't know if it would actually go through because I assume his cash on hand is being used for actual
And
contracts
even
that he
still,
has
dude,
right now.
if I put those options in for him, he's still gonna be on the hook for the money this year.
Yeah, there's not anything you can do about this.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about this.
Yeah, because you just cleaned up the last GM. I mean, with some serious contracts.
He's at least 2 years away, anyways. This is not a real problem.
That might actually do Mark Shaw some good.
Hey, Nersh.
Hey, Aaron.
So Josh is offering me some cash for my second rounder, but I don't know if it would actually go through because I imagine his cash is tied up in fucking his Oakland contracts, right? I just don't have a way to see that myself, so I don't necessarily trust him to figure that out.
He couldn't trade a scrub because he couldn't afford it, right?
Do you know how to make
Yeah,
a trade in
that's why I
game, Aaron?
figure. What?
Do you know how to make a trade in game?
Oh, maybe. Let me look.
Because all you gotta do is go to the make a trade in game, go to him, trade his cash for any pick. It doesn't matter if you have any pick.
That under transactions. Okay, player trade. Okay, I see. Got it. Thank you.
And like when you make trades from now on, you can submit trades that
And
way
submit them
too.
all in there. Cool.
Be right back.
Hey Larry,
What's up?
I got an offer for you. Maybe. Jump down a channel for a second.
User left your channel. User left your channel. User joined your channel. User joined your channel. User disconnected from your channel.
Robert did not find the conversation interesting enough.
Oh, was
He
that
didn't
him?
even, he didn't even say anything. I mean, he came in and then left. Still looking over this Miami game and wondering, with that lineup, how the hell he did any damage to my pitch. Just walk right through him. Randomness. Catcher, who's got a 45 overall rating, is batting 455.
Alright, I'll be back, guys. See you.
User disconnected from your channel.
Guys, I am developing a serious drinking problem right now.
Sam.
Because of being off work?
Yeah, I mean, I am able to work from home, but that doesn't stop me from opening a beer before I usually would.
I've been waiting till
That's
5 o'clock.
That's one of the reasons why I had trouble with when we closed our office and we were going to all work remotely. You know, I I just knew people would be doing their laundry or drinking or watching porn or, you know, I mean, they're just not as busy as they are if you're all in the same office together. It's hard enough to keep people productive and keep them off their damn phones and all that kind of stuff without, you know, without giving them all the distractions of home.
Yeah, it's a real struggle. It's going okay, but I'm definitely gonna have a drinking problem after we're done.
Well, I think there's some programs that hopefully companies will implement that like can tell like how long you were in front of your screen, or you know, if you were typing or searching, or you know, I mean, if you're actually doing anything besides sitting around watching TV. I didn't implement anything like that, but I have a few parts.
User joined your channel.
You didn't like the conversation before?
He will give it a second chance.
I'm sure I still won't.
Nobody said a word the whole time you were here. We're all scared to say anything.
It wasn't me, was it, Robert?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Oh.
God, it just fucking figures the guy that I want gets taken right in front of me every time.
Yeah, imagine if you traded for that draft pick like 3 picks ago or something.
Jimmy, I cannot believe that center fielder fell to you.
Yeah, no shit.
I just.
I was just as shocked as you were. And the catcher was even better and just as shocking.
Didn't love him.
Yeah, I didn't like him either. But I thought there was one guy that you got that I was.
Nice stick, good glove.
It was the
What's
Cardinals.
not to like?
That guy Antoine Rowe that the Cardinals got at 14. I thought he went too. Well, is there some way we could get together and get a petition or something to get Aaron to get a new scout?
I wish he was here for that. I mean, that's a pretty good burn.
I'm serious. I don't
not
think it's
nearly as asshole-ish as you usually are. I actually liked that a lot. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I wish he was here for it.
I appreciate that, but you know, he does need a new scout. I mean, he constantly argues with me and other people about, you know, last season he was arguing about who's good prospects and who's not, and so on, and then he goes and picks his second baseman who is decent. You know, he probably should be a top 5 guy, maybe top 8 or something, but he takes him number 1 overall.
Can we talk about for a second, not to shut you down, but I really like shut you down. But what is going on with Dave August in this draft pool?
No shit.
How do you have 90
What
stuff?
makes him an 80?
How do you have 90 stuff and you don't have a single pitch over 45?
He's just a cutie patootie.
I really don't know how the ratings work in this game. That's the bottom line.
I seen that, but
Don't ask questions that you don't want the answer to.
I would be more scared of his velocity than anything else.
Okay, well, okay, and that's a great. I mean, that's a good point because like if he had a 45 fastball, that was just flat and straight, but he threw it 107 miles an hour, then
Right.
you could kind of see it, right? Or if he had a 93 mile an hour fastball that had a lot of good movement on it, you could see it. But it doesn't seem like either of those things are happening. But he still has 90
Well,
stuff somehow.
I'll tell you this. This takes the argument away that I've read out in the forums that the like certain pitches, each pitch doesn't really mean anything. The stuff and the control and whatever that is derived from the pitches themselves. It's just a derivative of that.
I don't understand. I don't
And
understand how that explains this, though.
no, I'm saying it crushes that because there's no way that these
Oh, okay.
ratings
Gotcha.
produce that control or that stuff. It's impossible. But guys were saying things like, a knuckleball would give you better stuff, or and it would hurt your control, things like that. And I was, but that basically stuff, movement, and control were nothing more than numbers that were derived from the combination of pitches and the strength of those pitches. And they're totally wrong about that, based on this guy. There's no way a 45 fastball turns into, anything.
You should take a picture of him, post it in that thread.
I would also be fearful of this guy because he's outspoken and greedy and
Piece of shit, yeah.
That is
right.
fucking hysterical.
I would think he would be a real piece of shit. So your team's not going to be, your morale's. And see, that's one of the other things about this game that I think are kind of messed up is that morale seems to be like a double jeopardy sort of situation, right? Where if an individual's morale is low, then he is then going to not hit as well and so on. And then if the individual's morale is low, then he then also affects everybody around him. And I'm not saying that can't happen in real life, but it happens at an exponential rate in this game. Where if you have a team that is not gelled well, they literally will play 30% under what they would have had they just been content.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I think they're just overemphasizing how what morale matters. And then when you have one asshole that's outspoken, he throws a wrench to everything.
I think it has more to do with the environment that the GM creates for his players, and maybe that's why I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh shit!
I have actually never seen. I've never seen anything like that guy in this league. Like I could explain, or at least come up with some kind of argument for every rating that I've ever seen. That is something else. I don't know.
Did you automatically, or did you create this guy like this, or is this? Did you beef him up or something?
Well, yeah, I created. I'm the creator, right?
I'm saying, was he randomly generated by the computer?
I smell smoke, but I see no fire.
Okay, well, what I'm wondering is, as soon as you draft him, is all of a sudden the number's going to fall because the guys in the forums are right, and that the control and stuff.
I
and
don't
everything.
fucking know. I spent 6.5 hours fucking editing the pool. I don't remember, to be honest. I uploaded it and looked at it afterwards, and I was like, "That's really interesting." I wonder what I did.
After a couple sims, is this guy's potential rating going to be like 45 or something?
I don't fucking know.
Because if the control and so on are a derivative of his pitches, then yeah, it's horrible.
No, I'm pretty sure I know what's going on, but I'm not telling you.
Well, I didn't ask the question.
It's a secret. It's top secret.
Well, that's good. You ought to try to keep some things to yourself.
He's going to be the greatest pitcher in the history of the file, Justin. So if you get an opportunity to pick him, I would highly recommend that you pick him.
See, these are the kind of guys that I literally would just say no to. I mean, there's plenty of guys out there that you can choose. Why choose this guy and take a risk on him? He's got what I consider to be big red flags that I just...
2 fucking errors in the first inning. Nice.
You got 2 errors in the first inning? Oh, see, that's more like it. 12-4 against Miami. See, that's what it's supposed to be. Wait, I was looking at an old one.
Atta boy.
Oh no, it was recent. Somehow, you guys ever had that problem?
Well, Justin's mouth speaking before he's got the correct information. Doesn't
Granted,
sound like you, buddy.
You guys ever had that problem where, like, when you're looking at the final scores or whatever, you know, in Slack, and it just rolls back to the beginning automatically, like it scrolls all the way back?
No, I just injected that code for your fucking channel.
So you're saying it does happen to you sometimes?
No, it doesn't. I just hit, honestly, I see if anyone's messaged me and I hit shift escape. You got to realize Larry and I get messages for every team in the league.
Really?
Every single, that personalized channel you have, we're in everybody's channel. That's the only way we can make it work. So I see who's messaged me.
That
I hit
sucks.
shift
You know-
escape to delete all the messages, and then I.
You
tell
know you
them
can
what I
mute
need
those
to see.
channels so they don't pop up for you, right?
What's that?
I said you could just mute the channel so it doesn't pop up, so it doesn't light up for you.
Yeah,
You
I
never
could.
have to
Yeah,
worry
I
about
could.
it.
That's a good idea. I'll probably take the time to do that tomorrow. I don't know why. I didn't even know you could mute people, to be honest.
Yeah, I had to learn that because of Andy. But yeah, you just right click on the thing and it pops up a little thing that says mute.
Interesting.
And then no matter how many times somebody sends you some dick pic or some other bullshit in your DM, you don't have to worry about it. It won't pop up on your screen or give you a little red button, or, well, it puts a little red light there, but not like in mine. The browser, like, if, let's say I got a message from Larry or from somebody that has some sense, I would get a little pop-up red light on my top of my browser tab to indicate that. But when I get a message from somebody that I blocked, I don't get those, like Andy. I don't get any of that. So he can message me all day and it doesn't annoy me.
I wasn't listening to most of that, but I endorse it.
Yeah, I got a little off track. I was looking at my 13-4 thumping of still can't seem to get my team to hit home runs. Bob and some other guys, you know, with Dart Puffer, and, you know, they're hitting 50 home runs and shit, and my best guy's hitting like 33.
I created a test file.
You know what? You take fucking
And
Dark
I,
Puffer's name out of your mouth, okay?
Take what?
Out of your mouth permanently.
Take your dick out of your mouth, he said. So I created a
take
test
Dark
file,
Puffer's
and in
name
the
out of
test
your
file, I reset all of the hitting and pitching sliders back to default and compared the averages of what the default sliders, the totals they would give us compared to like what our league has evolved to. And they're really, like, batting average was only off by, I think default was like 246 or something, and then we were 251. So it, like, wasn't too far off. And then anyway, I have it all written down upstairs, but
Which sliders are you talking about? You reset?
there's just like stat sliders. So the game, I guess, determines like how many home runs will get hit every year. based on like a slider. So if I wanted like say 15,000 home runs to get hit in the league next year, I could just go to that slider and type in 15,000 home runs, and next year 15,000 home runs will get hit in the league.
And you do that specifically for like people's teams who you like and don't like too, right? Like you slide up like Cubs home run.
That'd be nice if you could do that. Yeah, buddy. We would just, we would just keep you winning, but unfortunately, no, you can't do it that way. But, and I've never touched any of those things. They do naturally evolve on their own a little bit, just through like the league statistics. But ours really haven't evolved that much. So it's got to be just the players we have, because the sliders are pretty much the fucking same as they were in 2016. They've gone up like a tiny little bit in each category. Some of them they've dropped a little bit.
You haven't had any amazing record home run years or anything, have you? Not recently?
They've a couple, maybe not like years, but looking back on careers, we're starting to see, I feel like, some unrealistic careers.
That dude I just took was a fucking steal at that spot.
Harper.
Yeah, according to the game, Harper was actually better than Mike Trout. That's not true in real life, at least.
Yeah, Mike Trout did not develop as well as, not develop, but he did not age as well as Harper did in MLM.
Harper can suck the snotty end of my fuck stick.
Wouldn't it be freaky if Harper ended up playing till he's like 43 and Trout retires early? Like
Jimmy,
the league predicted that.
I'm pretty good at this stuff, Justin. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, buddy.
Jimmy, I don't think you're supposed to have a snotty end of your fuck stick. I think you should see a doctor.
It's a little late for that.
I think maybe you got the Rona.
That's not one of the symptoms.
The snotty end of my fuck stick. There's gonna be a snotty end, brother. Has to be. And that's the one he can suck.
Has to be.
Sound like one of Joe
Still got
Biden's
this fucking
analogies.
visual of that motherfucker come strolling up in a fucking walker, coming up to the plate and fucking drilling one on me. And pointing too, pointing out the right field at the old Babe Ruth thing. I can just see him doing it. And have me believing he's going to. Then my dumbass throw him a strike.
All right, Jimmy, let's see if your squad can get Waka on track here.
Well, yeah. Milwaukee just wore the fuck out of me.
Well, you were playing well last week.
No, I'm doing all right this time too. He just got me a couple games hard. 16-8 last two games. I'm surprised at how well the offense is doing.
So, anybody got any predictions on who doesn't get 50 wins this year?
It's too early to tell. I mean, I guess you could try to predict based on the predictions or the teams, but
Based on your own knowledge of the strength of the teams.
you never know, man. You just never know.
Well, it looks like to me everybody's going to make it, but I thought maybe you guys might have some light on what you thought.
Another typical game,
It's
Bob.
hard to not win 50 games, man. I think with everybody knowing that it's a rule, it's not going to happen very often.
Another
Right,
typical
see,
game, Bob.
That's what the rule fixes, right? Is the fact that there's no pressure to win 50 games anymore, so why not win 60 or 70?
There was
What?
an interesting thing where, like, I don't think we had more than one or two teams, like the first 12 years of this league, miss 50. And now all of a sudden, it's every year someone's in danger of doing it.
Yeah, it is weird. Ever since I came in, there's been one or two
Harper
teams.
moment.
There's been one or two teams every year.
I don't want to start throwing fire or tossing stones, but I mean, you see some of these teams that it's happening to, and they're either it's accidentally on purpose because they're trying to get just to 50 and then they end up failing, or they're kind of letting it happen for the same reasons. There's tons of waiver claims and shit to be made, man. There's all sorts of trades. You watch these teams that hit 50 and they're doing nothing. They're doing nothing. They're not making waiver claims. They're not making trades. They're not trying to... If you came to me and said, listen, man, I made fucking 30 waiver claims and fucking 8 trades and I tried to do everything and I got to 49, do you think you could let this rule pass for me? I'm brand new. I might hear you out, to be honest, but the guys that it's happening to are doing it intentionally. Like there's a reason it's happening. It's not a product of our file or anything like that.
Right, or they traded away so much that they just can't even field a team, and then on top of that, didn't make any waiver claims. You can look at waivers right now. It's kind of what I was telling the new guy about Jimmy's trade. Is you can look at waivers right now and find 10 guys that are better than the 3 guys he got for that draft pick.
Those 3 guys that he got for that fucking draft pick, dude, are the ones he asked for. I didn't tell him that was true.
And I don't doubt that. I'm just saying that they're none of them are major league quality players.
This is because of what? Because you can read numbers better than everybody else, or because his scout says something different than what your scout says? What exactly is your rationale for messaging people and fucking telling them they're fucking dipshits?
Actually, I didn't tell him he was a dipshit. I asked him my first question specifically was if he knew that player was injured or not.
Man, Minnesota is kicking the fuck out of me.
Sorry, nurse, that might be my fault.
Yeah, that's fine. What happened?
I was using Jim's logic there. I swept him, and he came back.
I missed it. You were playing a game, Larry?
I hate you. 2030, Jimmy.
Is that a score?
Jimmy knows what it is.
Oh, the year 2030.
And fucking Bob harbored me again.
I thought that was Minnesota's score against Toronto. It's 21-5.
I hope you're joking, Jimmy. That is not a Harper year.
No, I got harpered again in this last game against Bob. 3-run shot, bottom of the 9th. Yeah.
Not in 30.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Bob. What Bob did to me yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And the day before.
That was horrific.
And every day since it's happened.
Yeah, I mean, that was horrific, too. It's worth quitting over.
Yeah, but I didn't. Silly me. What they say the definition of insanity is?
That's not the definition of insanity, but I've heard the term.
I stand corrected again. My bad.
In the half a second between when Jimmy said that and you started talking, I was like, he's going to say it's not the definition of insanity.
Yep.
It's not his fuck stick.
You're starting to
the same fucking thing.
You started to think on the same wavelength. That's great. Seattle's kicking ass. Wait till you get some of those rookies up there. Of course, he's playing Dave from LA. That guy ever won? He's never won anything, has he?
Bob, did you sign Hingle?
He did, yeah.
You
I
are
tried
an
to.
asshole.
1 year,
Tried to.
3.51.
Yeah, baby. What a fucking deal.
Fuck, I guess.
I don't know who you guys are talking about. Pat, is that Pat Hingle?
He'll be a nice,
Aaron Hingle.
nice
Aaron
bench
Hingle?
bat.
They waited for everybody to go to bed last night, then Larry
Well, at least you got a
slipped him
little
the fucking
creative
deal.
on your team.
Hey.
Allegedly.
Sorry.
Possibly. Potentially.
What? He only got one point something million?
3.5. That's felonious, dude.
Oh.
Any requests for the IFA pool?
Yeah,
a whole
lots
bunch
of
of
them
them.
next
They're really
season,
good.
please.
Sorry?
Lots of them next season, please. Just go ahead and start creating them now.
We always need more pitchers.
Knuckle draggers.
Yeah,
Make a
there'll
bunch
be
of
some
them.
pitchers. Pitchers, you got the hitters for free in the draft. You got to pay for the pitchers in IFA.
Still don't have two nickels to rub together.
And I don't. That was a really weird draft. I don't want to get into it really too deep, but we won't see many drafts like that. Like I'm trying to
This draft, you mean?
this current draft, yeah. Like I'm just trying to get all these old fucking NCAA veterans out of the league, and I've limited the players coming into NCAA, so there's sort of more players going out of NCAA than coming into NCAA right now. So get the sort of the numbers down and contained in NCAA. Get some of the veterans out and into the pro leagues, and then hopefully we'll get into the next version and we'll start using this pipeline thing, and I'll have a better idea of how I can map it out moving forward. It'll give me more time and just more. I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's obviously a feature. There's something there to make my life easier, so I look forward to that.
They say there's a lot of major changes in the new version.
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up here in a couple weeks and start messing around with it.
I was gonna buy it today, but you were saying how you couldn't export from it, and so they still got a discount until tomorrow, I think. Being the cheap bastard that I am, I was gonna try to save that 10%.
Nah. Fuck $5. Shit, my dad gave me the license. I can't get it to work.
Your dad gave you what?
Gave me his second license for the game. I couldn't get it to fucking come out.
Yeah, so how does that work? You get the license, you buy it from them, and then they give you a Steam key or something?
No, you get two licenses when you buy the game. You can use it twice. The same license, but you can use it
You
twice.
can download it on a second machine, and you get a different user key for it.
I see. I thought you got it on Steam for some reason.
I think they
I
can
was
get
the
it
one that got it on
that way,
Origin,
too.
and I've been fucking pissed off ever since. I lose the file about 80% of the time.
Isn't that the one that went out of business?
No.
They said that one of them went out of business.
Origin has all the fucking Maddens, and now they're not.
There was one of them last year that they were using that went out of business early on, and when they were doing discounts, and anybody that bought it really early, they can't get the keys from that company or something, so they're having trouble. That's what the help, or some, I don't know. I asked him because I asked him recently how to get a second copy because my wife wanted to play, and trying to get something for her.
can get a license, but you can use one license 2 times.
Right. But I didn't use it 2 times, and I didn't know how to access that or anything. And then they said, "Well, we can't retrieve it from this certain one of because they asked me who I bought it through, and I just bought it through their website. But there's like a third-party facilitator, and that third-party facilitator, one of them went out of business and wouldn't give them the keys or something.
Did you say facilitator?
Facilitator.
You said facilitator.
I might have.
The shit that flies out of the snotty end.
Yeah.
Boys, I am the happiest 5 and 6 manager you have ever met.
Yeah, I bet.
You just
Nice
won
job.
5 in a row. Wow. Come back.
Seven to 4. Come on, Aaron. Bring up your third baseman. Put him on the mound.
Yeah, he's been beating Dave pretty handily here.
Yeah, look at that.
Here's the comeback.
Okay. Sit the third baseman down now.
Oh, fuck.
I lost Adam Santorelli or some. I can't say his. Every time somebody goes through waivers, somebody picks them up.
Was that it, Nurse?
One more, Jimmy. Then I get to edit another pool.
Yeah, this is that something that you're regretting? Moving the
I
IFAs?
actually am gonna put in another request for this winter to move rookie ball back to align with the start of MLB, and I'd like the draft to happen before that. So
Before the season starts?
yeah,
So you're gonna do the draft in the off season?
I'd like to do the draft and IFA in the off season.
That'd be cool.
And then everybody could have all their prospects and shit ready to go for April 1st. Rookie ball starts April 1st. You get a 162 game rookie ball season, the playoff, all that shit. It's the same as all the other league levels, but you don't have rookie league seasons cut in half. I don't know. I'm going to propose it. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. If it does, it does.
I think you just make that one of the things that you put in. I mean, there's no downside to that.
There's absolutely no downside at all.
How would that affect the IFA like spending?
That's gonna pass. That shouldn't even be voted.
Well, it's obviously for your own convenience. It would be so much better. So yeah, why not just
Right? Yeah, there's no threat of that not passing.
But what I'm curious about is how would that change like IFA spending and so on? Would you still have the same budget room to spend and things?
Yeah, because the winter meetings and stuff, like I think season tickets and ticket pricing lock on the start of the preseason.
Yeah.
So maybe we have the draft and IFA start on the start of the preseason when everything locks. So there's nothing that can
used to hitting the ball
at
this
that
year.
point. It's all locked in.
Well,
All your finances,
your IFAs are
everything's
in the
locked
international league anyway. So
We've long
what's
past free agency at that point. Everybody's got their affairs in order. You know what I mean? You know, there's
people are still
literally
signing
nothing
people
that
now.
hurts.
Is it me or is Houston hitting the ball this year?
They're stealing signs,
really
I think.
would like to pull out this win against fucking Minnesota here.
I'm behind you.
Yeah. It's a tight game.
Fuck, he just won't get off me.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh, yep. Nope. Took it back.
Oh, shit. 8-8. Jimmy's supposed to be ahead of mine. He's giving me play-by-play. I'd like to see Arizona beating San Fran 12-2.
Fuck's sakes.
Shit, dude.
Wear out your pitching.
Yeah, Minnie got him. You've hit 3 fucking solo shots on me, Bob.
Miami's playing right with Milwaukee as well. We're ahead of them. Yeah, they took over Boston. Has to be the luckiest GM in the history of offline leagues, online leagues.
I swore for a fucking fact that Mike was going to come creeping up to it. Come sniffing around for it.
Who? Mike? Who?
San Diego.
I wouldn't let that happen, man.
I was afraid Washington was going to get it because he kept handing around about, is nobody going to take him? Is nobody going to take him? What's going on? You know. I feel like that would
Good
be
job, Bob.
quite a reward for a guy that overspent and put his team in such peril.
Kansas City did it too. Fell on their face and did it. And fucking fixed themselves, and here they are again.
Yeah. Got a pretty tough team over there. Wow, I beat Atlanta 2-1, 3-1, 6-1. He's not very happy tonight. He's my favorite guy in the National League East. I hate to beat him like that, but
Well, you got me. I think first up next sim.
I do. Man, I should have looked forward to that so I could stack my best pitchers up front.
Shit, I ain't hitting the ball. He shut me down. Bob shut me down real good.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to sweep you is all.
You're getting a handful of puppies.
I was looking at Texas today. You know, he's got a pretty good roster, and his minors are still pretty stacked. Be a dangerous team. Maybe 2 years from now. I mean, they're good now, but I mean,